Okay, just like to do a biblical economics update on the state of email. Um, you know, this thing is such a rabbit hole of technological problems. Um, and I know that this is not just me. I know that the whole business world, the whole entire sales profession is suffering it, as a result of not only layoffs, but really, I would have to say a lot of it has to do with just the emailing problem. People not being able to send out cold email anymore. So, this past week, I was really looking forward to setting up what's considered like supposedly the new gold standard for cold emailing, which is the combination of Microsoft 365, a reliable server, with Instantly, which is considered the top of the line AI program for warming up cold email so that you can send it without it being a problem. Yeah, that was a fluke. That turned out to be a complete facade um, because I had a guy set it up for me on Fiverr. He set the whole thing up for me. And the result was that it would started the warm up, quote unquote, warm up process of my Outlook, but it was not doing it all the way. It sent me something like uh, 10 warm up emails to my inbox. It sent no warm up emails out of my inbox at all. And then on the third day, the whole thing had shut down and gave me an OAuth error. That's spelled O and then AUTH, like authorization. OAUTH, authorization. So OAuth errors started happening with Instantly and Microsoft 365 Outlook, like within 2 days. So it's like it's on and off, on and off, on and off. SMTP on and off. Problem, problem, problem. Uh, the guy on Fiverr said, "Oh, if you have any problems, just contact me." I contacted him with the whole thing, with the whole spiel, the screenshot and everything that the guy from Instantly had said. No response. So the so-called gold standard tech stack of email blasting and cold emailing, Microsoft 365 and Instantly, there's nothing happening there. There's nothing happening. So we're still at a complete standstill when it comes to cold email in the business world. Complete standstill. And this doesn't just apply to the individual entrepreneur. This applies to the whole business world. The whole business world is unable to do this. Um, so here's what I think needs to happen for those of us who are into self-employment. Uh, some people are completely giving up on email altogether, and I understand. And they're good, and they're turning towards direct mail, postcards. Here's the problem with that: it's $1,000 a pop to send out direct mail. I'm not going to say it doesn't work. It just sounds expensive. I'm not going to say it doesn't work though. It just sounds expensive compared to the old method of cold email. Here's what I think needs to happen. I just personally sent out something like 25 emails to services that claim, that I found on Google, to services that claim to do it for you. Okay. Done for you email blasting. Now, here's the thing with this. These are services that are not on Fiverr. These are services that I found on Google. And I basically Googled that expression, done for you email blasting. and I copy pasted the same message to all of the people, in either their contact form or their emails that I found on Facebook. And this was my message to them. Wanted, a done for you email blast. I give up on trying to cold email by myself. The technology is too buggy and the whole thing just looks like a rabbit hole that I can't figure out. I've tried done for you email blasting services on Fiverr before and got ripped off several times. People would quote unquote say that they sent an email blast for me, and then they would give me a screenshot of a quote unquote report of the analytics of my so-called email blast. Probably this was a fake report. I got no email replies from those things. I mean nobody, no angry responses, no not interesteds, and most of all no requests for appointments. I really would like a real person to honestly do real email blasts for me and not have it be a scam. Do you have any testimonials where people have said they actually got replies in their email inbox or requests for appointments? Because that's the whole point of paying for the service, not to get some fake report screenshot and not get any emails back from anybody. So that's kind of like where you're at right now. So this is the message that I sent out to people on Fiverr. Maybe I'll get lucky and find somebody on Fiverr. And I also sent out to like-kind type services that I found on Google. Fiverr and Google. Done for you email blasting services. I found one or two off the top. Most of these sites are vague, because they're loaded down with articles. And I found even one site that was a blog. One site that was a blog that was completely dedicated to doing daily articles on the subject of email blasting. Now think about that. A blog that is dedicated to writing articles every day on the subject of email blasting. I found a blog website. I'm going to say this again. I found a blog website. Every day, this dear person is publishing articles on the subject of cold emailing. They don't even have a software program that they're pushing. What is going on out there? I also found another website. This is crazy. I found another website that is a forum, kind of like Quora. It is a forum website for cold emailing. It is a website that is a forum, much like Quora, on the subject of cold emailing. Now, you might be sitting there, if you're not used to this, if you're not in the sales profession, you might be thinking, why are you so shocked that one person has a website that is a news article website on the subject of cold emailing? Why are you so shocked that there's another site out there that is a forum like unto Quora that is completely committed to nothing but talking about cold emailing? Why are you shocked? Well, if you're familiar with the effectiveness of cold emailing, right, this should shock you. If you're not familiar with this subject at all, this should make you laugh. Okay? This is one of the most basic, simple sales things that people have to do to get opportunities for appointments for sales. One of the most basic things. But it's become so complicated. This is why this is so ridiculous. This has become so complicated, so technologically impossible to achieve because of Google, that there are forum websites out there of people discussing the disgusting complexities of the problems and OAuth errors of just sending out email blasts to people. That's how complicated this has gotten. It's like a maze, and it's like a labyrinth, and it's like an Alice in Wonderland rabbit hole. It's crazy. So if we're thinking about economic problems, it's not to look to the president as the answer. It's to look to what can we do to get this email problem fixed. It's a technological whirlwind. It doesn't matter what program you try. You will run into so many errors that at the end result, you will not be able to find customers. What's a guy to do? Now, either A, you turn to direct mail, which is really expensive. B, you turn to cold calling, which is a possibility. That's always a possibility, but in hard times like this, that becomes a challenge in terms of numbers, in terms of volume. This is a volume issue, right? We've got to get out a lot. We've got to get like thousands and thousands of messages to people to find those few. So if you're doing cold calling to find appointments, it's going to take a while. It's going to take a while compared to email blasting. Email blasting is like the fast food version of cold calling. All right. Sometimes, people have gotten so used to email blasting in times past, they would say to themselves, we don't need cold callers. We have email blasting. We'll do this instead. The problem with that is that it has its limit. You run into the limit a whole lot faster. Cold calling and cold email both have their limits, and both of them need to be used. They complement one another. So if cold email is not working, there's no question cold calling needs to be resorted to. But can we really say that email doesn't work anymore? No. If that were the case, nobody would be able to email people at all, not even family and friends. So how can we get this done? Maybe sending out individual emails to people instead of leveraging technology to send out BCC type things. But this is just crazy. The whole thing is just insane. So I think because this is such a technological whirlwind, we need to get past thinking about things like GMass and Instantly. Unless you want to start your own business centered around that type of stuff, it's a waste of time. This stuff has gotten so technical and such a waste of time, right? By the time that you've got the whole thing figured out, you might as well start a business for it. That's how ridiculous it is. Unless you're willing to spend week after week, month after month, 8 hours a day on how to figure out how to get email blasting done to people, you might as well not even try. Like this stuff is so unbelievably technologically challenging. There's so much A/B testing that has to go on here. The whole thing is just enough to smash a man's brains out against the wall. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. It's ridiculously bad. It's a bad situation. It's negative. It's dark. It's gloomy. Imagine a tornado with Legos going out all over the place. There goes your Lego building. This thing is a mess. So I recommend that if you want to do email blasting, the objective should not be, how can I figure out this technology for myself? Here, I'll buy myself an AI email program, and that's going to fix the problem. Probably not. Probably not. Your best chance, if you still want to hang on to cold email, is to find a guy who is a technological wizard like Mark Zuckerberg and is doing this for people. You pay him $150 or so to send out 1,000 emails, and but make sure it's not a scam though. That's the thing. These people can scam you. Where you don't even get any email replies from prospective customers, and they just send you like a fake little screenshot thing. So, but this seems to be the best situation. This has gotten so technical. It really seems to have gotten to the point of it's just better to just leave it to the experts. God bless you out there. This is John with WesleyGospel.com.